What's up, everyone? Today we're going to walk through Sweet Georgia Brown in F major. I'm going to teach you the melody really slow by ear so that you can get a sense of some of the patterns and practice learning by ear, picking that up if you're not used to doing this. If you're already an advanced player, this is probably not the tutorial for you. This is a fantastic swing standard, often played also in G major on string instruments, so it's worthwhile learning in that key as well. Let's go ahead and start with the pickup. And I'm going to play eighth notes on the beat, starting on beat 2. Starting on our tonic here, on a low 2 on the D string, F. And we're going to play eighth notes down in half steps. So F, E, E flat, and D. That D is going to be the downbeat. So if we count that, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'm going to walk through line by line here and then break down every line into sometimes a bar at a time even. We're going to mostly be playing quarter notes, and then I'm going to add the syncopation in later. So let's learn the notes of the melody and then we'll add the rhythm. The first bar of this is on a D chord. So already we have a high 2. We're playing an F sharp. Now what's going on there? We're in the key of F, but we have an F sharp in the melody. Well, this tune does not start on the one chord or the tonic. The pickup that we're playing is leading into D, but we have our first line, which is a D major pattern. And that D major is a dominant chord that's built on the 6th scale degree. So if we're thinking F major, we can name the scale degrees or number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is D. So that's our 6th chord. Or if we're thinking in terms of secondary dominance, it would be the 5 of 2. So the first bar again sounds like Frere Jacques. Nice and slow. Let's do that again together. 3, 4. So again, thinking D major right now. The second bar hops up to the A, down to the F sharp, and then B and A. So open A, F sharp, 1 on the A, and then open again. So if we put those two together, we have our first little melodic pattern here. Now we're going to hop up to a D, that's a half note, and we're going to go down a D major arpeggio. So always be aware of the pattern, right? That melody is an arpeggio and it fits perfectly in the chord. So even though we're in F major, we're thinking in D temporarily here. So one more time, all the way through that line. 3, 4, walking up the D, hopping up to the A, and then hopping up to the D, arpeggio. Good. Our second line goes to a G7 chord, and we're going to play the melody almost exactly the same, but instead of playing an F sharp, the first 2 bars is exactly the same with an F natural. So now we're going to have a low 2 on the D string. That's our first bar. One more time. 3, 4. Going on. Again, you can see it's the same pattern. Open A, but instead of F sharp, F natural. Still B natural and A. Let's do those 4 notes. So you got to squeeze that first finger back inside, right behind that low 2. One more time, those 4. Let's put those after our walk up the D string with a low 2. 3, 4. hop up to the D again, but instead of going down the arpeggio, the D major shape, we're going to walk down from a B. So B, A, G. From the high D, half note, 3, 4, down to a B. So that whole line would sound like this. Let's try that together. 3, 4, walking up with an F natural. Open A. Up to the D. And then walking down B. Good, so let's put our first two lines together. Make sure we're remembering the difference here. So with the pickup, walking down from the F natural, starting on beat 2, eighth notes, down to the D. Ready? 4 and 1 and. D major. Arpeggio. Now with a low 2. Walking down from the B. Good. Now the next line starts in C, and it's the same pattern that we did on our D chord, but we're starting on a C here. So third finger on the G string. Right? How would Frere Jacques sound starting on that note, right? Think about it that way and be aware of the patterning under your hand. So 3, 0, 1, 3. Now we're going to hop up a fifth to that G. Next pattern is 3, 1, 4, 3, or you can use your open A if you want. 3, 1, open A, and a G. So that would be the second bar of the C chord, or the third line. Again, from the beginning of that line, walking like Frere Jacques. 3, 4. Let's do that again. 3, 4. Second part. Again. And let's put those two together. 3, 4. Now we're going to hop up to our root and go down our arpeggio. Right now this is a C arpeggio shape. So that whole line all together. After we land on that low C, we're going to have a new rhythm. Again, you can use open D if you want, or fourth finger. So now let's count that out. From that C arpeggio, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1. And that rhythm again, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So let's get that syncopated rhythm. After beat 1, it starts on beat 2. 1, 2, and 4. Just do that a couple of times. 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4. You can put a slur in this if it makes it easier for you. 1, 2, and 4. So I'm slurring two notes together. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Now, on the downbeat, we're going to continue up to an A. So adding that A on to that syncopated rhythm. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We get 2 more notes at the end. So let's hook that line onto the C major section. So 1, 2, 3, 4, C. C arpeggio. Here's our rhythm. 1, 2, and 2, 3, 4 again. 2, 3, 4, 1. That's our A section, or the first half of the tune. The second half starts exactly the same as the first half. So we have 2 lines that we already know. We have our D major section. So now that we learned the notes, let's take this opportunity to add some syncopation in here. I'm going to play the rhythm a little bit differently, and then we'll count it. So that would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So we have a couple of syncopations in there. If it's too challenging to count it, don't worry about that. Just work on feeling where that syncopation happens. If you can hum it back before you play it, that's always good. 3, 4. Here it comes. And at the end there. So hopping up to the B is early, and the very last note is early as well. 3, 4. We could play the same rhythm with the G chord, so our low 2 pattern. And again, the same with the C. Here's our rhythm. So that would be the whole first half. The second half starts with the same D major chord. Let's play our syncopation and the G7 chord. And here's where the tune changes. We have a different melody here. So let's hear that rhythm. So that's a couple of A's, and then staying on the D string, 3, 1, 4, or 3, 1, open A. Let's play that rhythm. It happens twice in the tune, so twice in a row here, 3, 4, and the last line walks up a kind of pentatonic-ish pattern. We have a little chromaticism. So let's look at that bit by bit. We have starting on a low C, open, F. Now what is that? That pattern, that's an F major triad. So be aware of these patterns. Walking slowly. C, C sharp, D, and A. So let's put those together from a low C. Ends G and Again, an F major triad, but going down now. So G, C, A, F. And we can put a little slide in there if we want to give a little bit of bluesy sound. That whole line one more time from the low C. 3, 4. Walking through the second half, we're starting on the D. One more time. 3, 4. Low 2. Here we have our A pattern. And our last line. Now there we can add some syncopations as well. Let's play all the way through the melody now as we've learned it. With the pickup, 3 and 4 and 1 and... 2, 3, 4. Here's our C. D major again. Low 2, G7. Here's our A syncopation. And last line. A little bit faster. 4, 1. Low 2. C. 1, 2, 3, D. G7. Here's our A pattern. And the last lick. So that's hopefully a little bit closer to what it would sound like once you've internalized it a little bit more and learned this melody. Something that could be useful is getting the swing bowing in on the pickup here. So if you're playing separates on the eighth notes, play one separate and then slur two. So 1 and, always slurring from the and of the beat over onto the beat. So down, up, down, up. That becomes really important later on if you're improvising with eighth notes, and you should be playing eighth note rounds in swing. Another way you can practice this to get it under your fingers and in your arm to get everything coordinated is to play an F major scale and do the same thing. So it would be 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... You want to be doing this in the upper half of the bow, and as you speed it up, you can start to swing the eighth notes, and this makes it a little bit smoother than playing all separates. once you're comfortable with this melody, you could add those syncopations almost anywhere. So instead of doing the one that we've learned, you could almost play the whole line syncopated. You can be systematic about that and say, okay, I'm going to try and move it back a beat every time. So if we're starting from syncopating up to that B, we're going to try and syncopate to the F sharp before it. So and then let's go back another note to the A. So that's a little bit dry and I don't know, unmusical, but it can help you train to feel syncopations in different places. Another thing you can do is put on a metronome and really just feel that syncopation, and then apply it to the melody. There's a bunch of different ways to play this. Part of the idea is to have fun and explore that. So I hope that's helpful for getting you started doing that. If you're ready for something much more advanced, there is a Gypsy Jazz primer and swing primer on stringlingo.com that you might very well enjoy. I go over this tune in depth in G major and talk about how to improvise over dominant chords and some other conventions that are used in gypsy swing. That's all for now. Happy improvising.